This incident happened about 4 years ago, when I was in my final year of high school. I was looking for a part-time job to pay my college tuition. Around that time, I found a 3-day house-sitting job in an upscale part of the city. The homeowners were going out of town for the weekend, so they needed someone to take care of the house while they were away, water the plants, and stay there at night. They were going to pay me $600 for the job, so I immediately said yes. On the day they were leaving, they gave me a quick tour of the house, explained everything I needed to know, and told me that if I needed anything, I could call them without hesitation. Just before they left, they told me one last thing. There was also a home theater in the last room on the upper floor. They said that if I wanted, I could watch a movie there. But before going to sleep, I should make sure all the doors in the house were properly locked. Then they left. I locked the door and went to my room. The first day and the first night passed completely normally. The house was unusually quiet. So quiet that I started thinking this might be the easiest job of my life. But on the second night, everything changed. The second night, at around 2 in the morning, I was sitting alone in the home theater upstairs, watching a movie. The entire house was unusually quiet. Suddenly, the power went out throughout the house. The movie stopped immediately, and the room was completely swallowed by darkness. The only light left was a faint white glow from the home theater screen, which reflected the room behind me like a dark mirror. I sat there silently for a few moments, staring at that reflection. Then suddenly, my eyes froze on the screen. Someone was standing in the darkness, directly behind my couch. My breath caught in my chest. My entire body went numb. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I didn't know whether it was real or just my imagination. But then, the shadow slowly started moving toward me. It stopped directly behind me. I couldn't see it, but I could feel its breath near the back of my neck. It was so cold that a chill ran through my entire body. A moment later, he pressed a sharp knife against my neck. The cold metal touched my skin, and fear froze me in place. I couldn't move even for a second. Then, he leaned close to my ear. For a few moments, he said nothing. And then, in a very low voice, he whispered, "I know. You're looking at me." That one sentence destroyed whatever courage I had left. My heart was pounding so hard that I felt like he could hear it too. At that exact moment, my eyes fell on a heavy controller lying beside the couch, and only one thought came to my mind. If I didn't do something right now, I might not get another chance. I grabbed the controller in an instant and swung it with all my strength toward his face. The controller struck him directly in the face. At the same time, I heard a terrifying scream of pain from behind me. I didn't waste a second. I jumped off the couch and ran straight toward the door. I rushed out of the room and into the hallway. But without the lights, it was completely dark. All I could remember was that the stairs were at the end of the hallway. I ran as fast as I could. Behind me, I could hear the horrifying sounds of him running and growling from the home theater room. He was chasing me across the wooden floor at an unnatural speed, almost like an animal. I reached the stairs and almost jumped down them. On the last few steps, my foot slipped, and I crashed hard onto the floor. A sharp pain shot through my knee, but stopping at that moment could have meant losing my life. I pulled myself up, and the moment I looked back, he was standing at the top of the stairs. Because of the darkness, I couldn't see his face clearly, but the knife in his hand caught the faint light and gave off a small glint. He stood there for a few moments, staring at me. Then he slowly began walking down the stairs. I ran toward the front door with everything I had. I had locked the door myself that night, but my hands were shaking so badly that I couldn't get the lock open for several seconds. On the other side, his footsteps were getting closer and closer. He was muttering some strange words that I couldn't understand. But in that moment, I forced myself to stay calm and started working on the lock again. Finally, the lock opened. I threw the door open and ran barefoot into the street. I reached the house across the street and started pounding on the door. Luckily, the people inside woke up. The moment they saw me, they pulled me inside, locked the door, and called the police. The police arrived about 10 minutes later. I told them everything that had happened, but honestly, I couldn't even believe what I had just seen myself. Several officers went inside the house, while the others surrounded the entire area. They searched the house for about half an hour, but they couldn't find anyone upstairs or downstairs. At first, it looked as though no one had ever been there. During the search, when they went back into the home theater upstairs, one of the officers noticed something on the wooden wall behind the couch. One section of the wall looked different from the rest. When they took a closer look, they found a small hidden door. It opened directly into a narrow passage built inside the walls. When the police entered the passage, they realized that it was connected to the walls and ceiling throughout the entire house. There were small vents and openings leading into different parts of the house, making it easy for someone to watch the people inside. Inside that passage, the police found an old notebook. Several pages contained nothing but dates and short notes. They recorded everything I had done. When I arrived, when I went to sleep, when I went downstairs, and even the exact time I started the movie in the home theater. Reading that made another cold wave run through my body. It could only mean one thing. I had not been alone in that house for even a moment. The police searched the entire area, but they never found the man. Later, the homeowners apologized and told me that they had only recently bought the house. They had no idea that the hidden passage existed. 4 years have passed since that incident, but I have never taken another house-sitting job. Even now, whenever I'm sitting alone in a dark room at home, watching TV, I sometimes find myself staring at the reflection in the black screen. And every time, I feel like someone is standing behind me, silently staring at me.